What's poppin', y'all? It's your boy Frankie. Welcome back to my home for another session of Frankie's Faves, straight out of my journal. When I began making these videos, I began with the question, why even share? You see, when I was in rehab, I'd often seclude myself in an attempt to find or make more time for prayer. During breaks, in between group sessions, I'd often go to the running track and try to pray there. I would walk around the track and pray the rosary or the Chaplet of Divine Mercy, often both. But the fear that existed within me wouldn't leave, so I'd often sit on one of the benches until I'd eventually doze off. My naps lasted barely a few minutes, as a racing heart would often wake me. Waking from said naps was so emotionally painful. I'd wake up only to realize that everything was true, that I was in fact in rehab fighting for my life, and by the feel of it, I was losing. St. Ignatius taught me that not finding rest often meant that I'd still not found what God had for me. This seems a perfect time to quote Augustine of Hippo, "My heart is restless, O Lord, until it rests in you." How is it that my constant prayer wasn't satisfying to God? I was indeed trying to rest in Him, but the rest wasn't arriving. One day, during a break period, I decided to not isolate myself anymore. Instead, I decided to go out to meet my fellow littermates. I began to listen to their stories. I began to understand what made them smile, what caused them fear, what inspired them, and just exactly what cross they each bore. I shall never forget sitting at the lunch table with a woman who was in tears. She was about halfway through treatment, and the exit here sign was on the horizon for her. The fear of going home and relapsing tormented her. She shared with me her sadness. I don't know where this came from, but I said to her, "Don't fight the sadness. Every emotion we experience is a God-made emotion. As such, it is used by God to awaken our senses to something else. So do not fight the sadness, but instead experience it and allow it to transform you." She looked at me dead in the eye, but didn't say a thing. She remained silent. Her tear-filled eyes made me realize that the advice I'd given her was something that I needed to practice myself. The fear, the shame, and the anxiety I was experiencing was indeed God sent, and that all I needed to do was experience it, not fight it. And there the fight stopped. I began allowing myself to be broken and imperfect. And in such brokenness and imperfection, I found freedom. And there I also learned that my vocation was not silence and prayer, but instead my vocation was to share in the lives of others. So why do I share? It's plain and simple. Because my life depends on it.